This story that you're about to hear about now is, frankly, insane. It's one of the most insane stories I think I've ever covered. And this is what happens. This is the culmination of having a media that's not great at their job at holding you accountable, and having an opposition party that's not great at holding you accountable, and also having a judicial system and institutions in this country that are collapsing and crumbling right in front of our eyes, and now they're unable to hold people accountable for the most obvious crimes in the world. And so CoffeeZilla did a video on this, and I'm going to play it and then we'll discuss it here. But the bottom line is somebody in Trump's inner circle shorted the crypto market, knowing that Trump was about to make an announcement that would collapse the crypto market. And because they placed this bet, they made $190 million in a day. $190 million. And so this is what we'd like to call insider trading. But of course, crime is now legal, so they're going to get away with it. Let's watch.
$190 million insider trading analysis. Someone made $190 million while the crypto markets were crashing yesterday in light of tariffs that seem to have been preempted by a very specific trader. We're going to get into it. I want to be clear that I'm not accusing anyone of a crime here. Insider trading specifically relates to securities. We've been pretty clear that crypto, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, are not securities. So I don't even know what this is. I think this is all legal, kind of. I don't think it should be, as you'll see. But the question is, what did this guy know? Okay, how did somebody make $190 million while everyone else was losing their shirts yesterday? If you don't know, there was one of the biggest crashes we've ever seen in crypto. And someone came in 24 hours before and started placing shorts against the market. Short is just when you bet that the underlying asset is going to go down in price and you will make money on that. Now, this all started October 9th at 1639 GMT time. They start accumulating this Bitcoin short. They initially put, and this is not chump change, guys. This isn't under your couch, pennies. This is $80 million that initially gets deposited, and they start placing shorts against Bitcoin. Okay, that's fine. Now the amount is unusual, but that itself is not the unusual part. Then we have Ethereum starts to get shorted at 349 GMT. Interesting. $30 million gets deposited into this account. Immediately start placing major bets that the market is going to go down. Why is this significant? Well, because at 1457, this is only a few hours later, like 12 hours later, Trump posts on Truth Social that they are calculating a massive increase on Chinese tariffs. This is due to a rare earth mineral dispute. But the point is, nobody knew this was coming, except, of course, maybe this guy, because he's already got these multi-million-dollar shorts. Now, where I think this goes from suspicious to downright diabolical is the fact that at this point, the market dips a little bit because you have these threats of tariffs. But the person does not start closing out their shorts yet, which I think is very interesting. If you place this huge short bet and then the president tweets something like this, you would think you would close out your order. But not only do they not do that, not only do they not close out their short, they continue to place short bets against Bitcoin. In fact, this person continues to short Bitcoin all the way up till 2049, 23 GMT. Why is that significant, ladies and gentlemen? It's because 2049 is the last short he places, okay? 2050 GMT. A minute later, 1 minute later, Trump announces they're considering an 100% tariff on China, which of course tanks the market. And this person makes literally $190 million in 24 hours. Meaning the guy was placing shorts up to 1 minute before Trump announces this big, huge 100% tariffs. And then, by the way, immediately, as if he knew something, we start seeing the shorts close only 30 minutes later. So both the ETH and Bitcoin short closed 30 minutes later. By the way, these accounts were funded by the same people. This is the same person making these trades. So to recap, this person not only times the same day that a big announcement was made, he makes these $110 million short against crypto. He then also conveniently waits past the initial tweet about tariffs until the most significant announcement, which is the 100% tariffs. And he's shorting it up till 1 minute before that. Guys, this is some of the most blatant crime is legal moments we've seen. $190 million. And the question is anything going to be done? No, actually, I can already answer that for you. Probably not. But I think what we are seeing here is just the rise of insider trading across the board. I think it's disgusting. I think it ruins capital markets and it's bad, but I don't really know what to do about it because it just seems like everywhere we're seeing the insider trading. I don't know if some of you remember there was a time where, Trump was going to post on his Truth Social that it's a good time to buy crypto and people were buying SPY calls immediately before it. But this is just completely blatant stuff, just given the perfect timing of it all and the size of the bets that were made under such kind of sniper precision. At least that's what it looks like to me. But I also wanted to say this isn't the only place where this is happening. This YouTuber Cheddar Flow has a tool where they analyze options, and they pointed out that recently there's been a big AMD announcement where they partnered with OpenAI. OpenAI is going to, receive some of their stock, and conveniently, people were making bets on that as well immediately before it.
The most insane insider trade of the entire year just happened. An AMD whale bought 6 million plus of out the money calls, which was super unusual. Cheddarflow actually posted on X right as that occurred. And then only 2 trading days later, we had news that OpenAI took a 10% stake in AMD. And those calls that these whales loaded only 2 trading days before were already up 300%.
So yeah, I just wanted to point out that it's not just crypto where this is happening. Seems like across the board. By the way, I love the title of this. It says this has to be illegal. Except I don't think anything's going to happen about it. And that seems to be the rough vibe in the industry recently. It's that like, hey, man, it might not be technically kosher, but if you can get away with it, you're probably fine. And it seems like most people are getting away with it in this market. Even the Nobel Peace Prize isn't safe from people front running. This is the poly market of it. And as you can see, this is where it finally got announced, the winner. But before that, traders were already basically pricing in the fact that somebody knew ahead of time that the person who won was going to win hours before. And they made a bunch of money doing that. So there's insider trading, an opportunity to insider trade across the board for people who have that sweet, sweet insider knowledge. And it doesn't seem like a lot's being done about it. In fact, specifically, the smartest thing to do is just know what Donald Trump's going to post on Truth Social ahead of time, since so much of our market is now just moving based on tariff threats. That's like where the real alpha is. It used to be you had to buy a Bloomberg terminal. Now you just have to know what he's going to post ahead of time, which, for the record, I think is a great way to run our economy.
So let's understand here. This is somebody from the Trump family. That's my guess. It's either Trump himself, or it's Eric or Don, or potentially Jared/Ivanka. You could say there's like an outside chance that it's Steve Witkoff, who he runs all this stuff through. So it's somebody in that mega inner circle, without a doubt. So further evidence of that, take a look at this. Eric Trump said on February 25th, buy the dips. Result, crypto crashes. He said it on August 2nd, buy the dips, crypto crash. He said it on August 17th, buy the dips, then a crypto crash. He said it on September 27th, buy the dips, crypto crash. And then look, it's like he knows in advance what Trump's going to say, and then he tweets this. I mean, this is absurd. How about this one? Pump and dump administration. In practice, it seems like the on and off tariff announcements are an insider trading scheme for Trump's Wall Street friends to profit off market volatility. I mean, he said as much months ago when he was bragging about how much his guys made after the first announcement. I remember that. He was in the White House and he was talking to like the head of JP Morgan or some shit, the head of some, big bank or big financial institution. And he basically bragged about it and said like, this guy, he made a lot of money today. So in other words, I know when I do a tariff announcement, the market's going to tank. At that time, if you're in the inner circle, you know when to short the market, so you make a shitload of money just off the tariff announcement. Then Trump eventually backs off the tariffs, or at least a hardline version of the tariffs, and then everything relatively goes back to normal. But he's already done this 3 times, 4 times. They feel like we can get away with anything we want. We can get away with anything we want. Nobody's ever going to hold us accountable, ever. And I got to be honest with you, we're talking about this, CoffeeZilla talked about this, but it literally took some day trader guy, some person that's into crypto or some shit. He had to release all the information and get people talking about it. In other words, it wasn't CNBC, it wasn't Fox Business, it wasn't even MSNBC or CNN. So, I don't know, the media is fucking MIA, the Democrats are fucking MIA, and every day you get a new Watergate level scandal and nobody fucking talks about it. I'm losing my mind over here. Because he's just deflated the entire country, right? Everybody just feels like nothing matters anymore. And so just it is what it is. And I'm sorry, man, but that's the mindset that brings us to hell. Things have to matter. We have to care. We have to, log these things and then eventually hold these fuckers accountable. Because, by the way, there's speculation it was fucking Barron who did it. That it could be Don, it could be Eric, it could be Trump himself. It could be Ivanka or Jared. It could be Steve Witkoff, or it could be Barron, right? Whoever did it has very intense foreknowledge of what's going to happen. So if anything, the prime culprit is Trump himself, right? But definitely somebody in his family or in his tight inner circle. Maybe you can make an argument for Stephen Miller, not sure. But this is crazy. This is crazy. So the same guy who took tens of millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia, if not hundreds of millions, for the Live Golf events, that's wildly corrupt and against the Emoluments Clause. The same guy who took $100 million from Miriam Adelson and $200 million from Sheldon Adelson. The same guy who didn't divest from his businesses the first time he was in office and lied about it and said that he did. The same guy who made $160 million from foreign countries as president the first time, he's making even more this time. The same guy who's selling NFTs and has a crypto exchange and trading cards, sells watches for $100K. The same guy who scammed his own supporters with a shit coin. The same guy who his son-in-law took $2 billion from Saudi Arabia, who got paid $500 million from Oman, who had a fraud charity and a fraud university and stiffed his own workers at his casinos and hotels. The same guy who did tax fraud and insurance fraud and business fraud is the same guy that's doing fucking rug pull shit, pump and dump shit on a daily basis and like rigging international markets in order to make a quick buck. I'm sorry, but in a functioning country, he would literally be like dragged out of the White House in handcuffs right the fuck now. All right, guys, that's the show. I love y'all very much. You guys know the drill. Everybody please click like, click subscribe, click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. Thank you to everybody who supports the show on Patreon. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you to everybody who tips with the thanks button that's below on YouTube. And everybody come tune in for Corin's World tonight. We have a Corin's World, a live Kyle and Corin on Corin's World tonight. Really looking forward to that. All right, I'll see you guys there. Peace. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.